For the noise complaint?
260. Jan, you want to hit the record and we're ready to go?
Next time we'll get a can with a string.
What do you say?
We can communicate across the.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call meeting North Branford Planning and Zoning regular meeting for, whatever it is, November 17, 2022. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Just wanted to introduce the commission members here today. To my immediate left is Trish Mason, regular member, and to her, my left, excuse me. And my far left is Ron Sien, another regular member, and to my immediate right is Chuck Rubano, the secretary for the commission, and to his right is our lovely recording secretary, Janet. Doesn't get a lot of credit, but thank you so much for being here. And I'm Bob Nowak, I'm the chairman for the commission tonight. So the next course of business we got tonight is review and approval of the minutes. Take a minute to look them over, see if there's any corrections, adjustments to the minutes, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve them. Trish, would you like your copy?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
You were absent, correct.
Yes. It was a long time ago, Trish.
Oh, please, I don't remember when I had breakfast this morning, so this is a lifetime ago at this point. But it was short, so. Good to go, if you are,
Awesome,
Chuck.
thank you. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
On which one?
I wasn't here.
On both of them?
No, just
Oh,
one.
we're just
We're
doing
doing
September
September 15th
Oh,
meeting
okay.
minutes.
All right.
So
you
we
made
have
the
a motion, a second, an abstention, and motion passes 3-0, 3-0 and one abstention. Okay?
Yeah.
So the next order of business is another regular meeting, October 6th. Unfortunately, we don't have the individuals that were here for that meeting, so we're going to have
Okay.
to table that one. That was Bill, Ron, and Chuck were present for that, and we weren't, so there's not enough people to review that. So we'll table that until the next meeting that we have. Do we need a motion to that, or no?
No.
No? Okay, moving on with that one. So that gets tabled. Moving right down the agenda, there's no new business to discuss. Old business or other business is POCD and discussion. We're waiting for town planner to move some of our agenda items forward for the POCD. So that's another item that there is no discussion or any movement on. The next item on the agenda is review of the draft revision to the bylaws. Do we want to amend the agenda to discuss the 2023 and get that out of the way before we move into the bylaws?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend amend the schedule to add that in.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 4-0. So the agenda for 2023 has application deadlines and meeting dates throughout the entire year. Again, there's only one meeting in the month of July and August, and one meeting in the month of December. Seems to be our normal meeting schedule. Is any conflicts? Just looking it over, if there's any issues that you guys can find on here. So as part of our bylaws, we, in our bylaw review, one of the discussions we had as a caucus, Republican caucus, was changing the date of the meeting. Does that, well, I know it says here 6:30, but we can talk about that during the bylaw review, and I know it's difficult for some of us to get here, but in any event, so.
Changing the date or the time, or the day?
The dates and then the time.
Oh, okay.
So what we can do is talk about the dates, any issues with the dates so far?
I mean, no, I know in the past there's been like conflicts with holidays, but it doesn't, I think that was only a July one, but we're avoiding that now. I can't see any other conflicts with dates.
Okay. Our annual meeting is July 13th, 2023.
Mhm.
And the meetings are at 6:30 here in the Town Council chambers in North Branford Town Hall.
Looks good to me.
Okay? I'll entertain a motion to accept the 2023 meeting schedule for the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second.
Second, so you have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So, moving on, so we're good with that for the meeting agenda for 2023. Why don't we, you want to make a motion to change the agenda again?
Or,
And discuss 260 Branford Road and have the bulk of the discussion about the minutes, about
Is
the
that-
bylaws. What do you think?
Yeah,
Because it's going to be a
agreed.
lengthy discussion in discussing
Yeah.
our bylaws, so I'll entertain a motion to, again,
Switch 'em.
modify the agenda.
all right, yeah, I'll make are you making a motion?
No?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to modify the agenda so we can discuss the noise complaint 260.
You have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, you have a motion and a second, so motion carries. So, in the noise complaint for 260, I have a letter here to the commission from our town engineer.
This is new, this wasn't discussed previously? Do
This
Ron and
was-
I need to be caught up on anything?
So basically, there was a noise
Oh.
complaint, and the gentleman here from 260, would you mind coming up and kind of talking about what the issue was?
Sure.
What you've done and where we are to date, and then I'll conclude with what the town engineer had said. I appreciate you being here today.
No, no trouble at all.
So your name
John
and...
McManus. I'm the Senior Business Improvement Manager for Brook and Willow.
Okay,
And, no, basically, we had a complaint from 4 Harrison Road initially, back in September. They said that from July up to that date, they had been hearing more noise from the plant, machine noise from the plant. And at that point, we said we would look into it. And we had installed 4 new presses. In the time since July, started 4 new presses to replace 4 old ones. And there was some additional noise coming out of the plant. At that point there, we didn't realize how loud it was until we got the complaints from the neighbors. And at that point, we started looking into ways we could mitigate that noise. In the meantime, Victor Benny also reached out to me from the town engineer. Said that he'd also received complaints through the police department and fire department about the same from North Farms as well as Twin Lakes Road. And over the last couple of months, we've been trying several different things to mitigate the sound coming out of the plant. First, by redirecting the roof stacks. They're ventilating the air from those presses. That's worked in the past, did not work this time. So what we did in the end was redirected the air from our GEW UV blowers from going off the roof, where they're also releasing quite a bit of a high-pitched, kind of a humming turbine noise from the blowers. And we redirected those through our attic, which is already pretty heavily insulated. And so essentially using the building as a muffler for the vents for those presses. And we're still waiting for a ventilator fan to come in from our HVAC provider, but that's already, it's being quoted right now for us. But that took care of most of the noise. We found, once that noise was mitigated, we found there were a few other stacks that were also emitting not as loud, but a noticeable high-frequency noise. And the complaint was about a high-pitched humming noise people were hearing, even within their homes. And I was able to get into the house at 4 Harrison Road, and I would agree that you could hear the sound. We would close the doors, you could hear this noise is always there. It's kind of in the background, almost like having tinnitus or something like that. but we actually installed controllers on those remaining blowers, they're smaller blowers. And what that did was allow us to turn down the amperage going to the blowers, still maintaining the minimal airflow required by the presses, but reducing the rotation of the motors by about 500 RPM, and that was enough to change that frequency of sound coming out of the plant. And at that point, we feel like we've done everything we could. We did find one additional blower that we redirected down toward the ground, letting the soil and the grass kind of absorb the sound from that. And at that point, walking outside, using our own noise measuring equipment, we seemed like we made a big impact on the sound, and just audibly making observations out there, we certainly made a big change in the sound coming out of the plant as well. And I spoke with Robert Colangelo, who lives at 4 Harrison Road. He said this is as quiet as it's been since before July. So
Great.
he agrees there's been a big difference in sound.
Okay, so thank you.
Right.
So, November 10th, Victor Benny sent myself and the commission a letter saying at a regular meeting October 6th, the commission members asked that I discuss noise abatement plan options that the gentleman just explained for nighttime noise readings. The town manager, Michael Downs, and I met with 2 Brook and Whittle representatives October 19th to further discuss the situation. The Brook and Whittle team provided an explanation as to their recent considerations at attempts at reducing the noise levels. They also provided a list of abatement measures that were been considered at the site. Since the meeting, Brook and Whittle has implemented the following abatement measures: rerouting, similar to what the gentleman just explained here, rerouted external vents from the presses to the interior attic space, installed controllers to each of the presses, redirected additional ducting to the roof. Following notification abatement measures being completed at Brook and Whittle, night noise measurements were completed October 7th, 14th, 31st, and November 7th. The October 31st and November 7th provided verification that sound levels are well below the night thresholds listed in noise ordinances as measured from the complainant locations. The Brook and Whittle team has been very cooperative and forthcoming with their information. It seems apparent that their noise abatement plan has proven successful, and thank you for your time and attention in this matter. So I believe the matter is concluded, and I appreciate you showing up today in person to explain your situation for those of us who weren't here for the previous meeting, and we appreciate it. It seems like you're all set.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Is there any questions from the commission before? No? Okay, so thank you very much for coming in. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're back on schedule. So our next order of business is the review of the draft revisions to the bylaws. So, and I don't know how to do this, but I think the best course of action is kind of go through it. Republicans have met over this. It's voluminous, time-consuming, so we've gone page by page and kind of revised and digested. So I think, Trish, do you have a copy?
Nope.
Okay, so Ron, do you have one? Would you like one?
Yes.
Okay, so what I thought was, I got 2 here, and Chuck, would you like one?
Yes, please, if you have an additional.
Yes, sir.
Has anything kind of been updated since the 2 weeks?
No, this is,
I've looked through this, and this is the most up-to-date one.
This is the most up-to-date version. I didn't want to make any additional changes or corrections until we all talked about it and got through at least a page. It's 10 of 7. I really didn't want to spend a lot of time on it because we'll be here all night.
Do we just want to go over like the highlights, the major changes?
So basically, we've gone from like 4 pages from 1974 to about 8 pages.
Okay.
And what the idea was to put a collaboration of all the things that the commission does for future generations, because now God knows when it's going to be revised again. So I thought we'd throw everything but the kitchen sink in here, and then we can digest and get through it.
I gotcha.
Okay, so what,
I just want to
Go-
point out.
sure.
It wasn't slighting you, Trish, that
Oh, yeah.
we caucused as Republicans. If we made it an open meeting, that would require all kinds of legalities.
No, I trust you
protests,
guys. I
and
know
stuff
you
like
have
that.
the town's interest and, you know, you see the current vision and the future vision, so I appreciate that. But I do, I trust you
Aside from that,
guys.
starting with the 1970 version of our bylaws.
We don't have a story from that time from you?
Oh,
Weren't you
That's
here
what
for
I'm
that one?
disappointed
I thought
about.
you drafted them the first time.
Well,
Did you?
I had a full head of hair at that time.
There you go.
I appreciate that, though, but no, I know you guys have the town's best interest.
So just a little background. In order to start off on what the bylaws was, I did some research and figured out there was a group of other towns across the state of Connecticut that would have it online. So I was able to locate a couple towns that have their complete bylaws.
Mhm.
And it seems to me that the bylaws across the board are all very similar in their layout and the reference to Connecticut general statutes. So I
Yeah.
kind of brought that, the best of all of it that would fit our needs, combined it into this document with the review of us here from the Republican caucus. We got through maybe 3 pages, 4 pages over hours looking over this. So if you want, I think what I could do is just, I could read through it, and then as you thumb through it, because we'll probably do maybe a page or two, the things that are underlined, for example, well, we can get to it. Underlined was the questions,
Oh, I
and/or
gotcha.
new.
Okay.
For discussion and whether we wanted to bring it in there. So, since we started this back in July, the revised, at the top, bylaws for North Branford Planning and Zoning of the bylaws of Planning and Zoning Commission of the North Branford, of Town of North Branford, Connecticut, revised December 1st, 2022 was the target date back in July. So we're not going to make that, but in any event. So the purpose and authorization, the objectives and purposes of the Planning and Zoning Commission of North Branford are those set forth in Connecticut General Statute, CGS, Title 8, Chapter 124 and 126 as amended. Those powers and duties delegated to the Planning and Zoning Commission by statute in the Charter of the Town of North Branford, Chapter 75 as amended. So that is in our town charter. I did check it out. So, and once we complete the entire document over the next course of our meetings, before we vote on it, I wanted to have the town attorney take a look through it. In addition to that, some of the components in here were not ours, but for action, but referring to Lynn's tasks and our future town planner task are also in this document. So they'll have to be vetted as we walk through it, so. Article 2 is the commission shall be known as North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission. Article 3, Office of Agency. The Office of North Branford Planning and Zoning Commission shall be at the North Branford Town Hall where all commission records were kept. Copies of all official records, documents, records, and maps, etc. will be filed or recorded in the Office of the Planning and Zoning Administrator. That terminology instead of planner is actually in the town charter, and it's called out as Planning and Zoning Administrator. Article 4 is membership. Section 1, there shall be 5 voting commissioners and 3 alternates. Their terms of office shall be as specified in above stated charter, establish the commission and the Connecticut General Statutes. Section 2, alternate members shall, when seated as herein provided, have all the powers and duties set forth in the general statutes. Alternates shall have the privilege of participation in all meetings and hearings without a vote until seated. If a regular member is absent or disqualified, a corresponding alternate shall act in the place of any regular member. So this is kind of goes back to that conversation we had. So this kind of puts that in, solidifies. So if there's 5 of us, then all 5 of us are seated and voting members. So that's probably why when the gas bottles came up, you were a voting member as an alternate. Section 3, the planning and zoning administrator or duly authorized designee shall attend all commission meetings. Other town staff members shall attend commission meetings upon request. A recording secretary is not required to be a commission member and should be provided and coordinated by the town administrators. Section 4, commission members shall notify the designated town staff person of his or her inability to attend regular or special meetings and workshops. Section 5, vacancy of the commission shall be filed by appointment by the town council as provided by the town charter.
Pretty
So,
straightforward.
any questions so far in the membership portion?
Just a quick one.
Yeah,
There should be 5 voting commissioners, okay? Do we address a quorum?
it's coming.
Okay.
So this is just membership and defining, I guess, who the members are, the alternates, and then what defines them alternates, how people are seated if there's a vacancy. We're defining that Janet is not required to be a commission member. And then we're inviting other staff like Victor and the town planner to sit in section 3. That kind of sums it up. Okay, Article 4, officers and their duties. Officer of the commission, Section 1, the officers of the commission shall consist of a chairman, vice chair, and a secretary, which that's what we do right now, right? No change there. Section 2, chairman shall preside at all meetings and hearings of the commission and shall have the duties normally conferred by parliamentary usage of such officers. The chairman shall have the authority to appoint committees, sign official documents, certify expenditures of funds up to $100 without prior approval of the commission, call special meetings, and generally perform other duties as may be prescribed by these bylaws. So in our current bylaws, it's $25. We didn't effectively apply inflation rate, but we just said $100 is, and then I don't know what we would do with that.
I was going, what
Yeah,
are you, I didn't know we
I-
were really been allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Trainings, I don't know.
Exactly. Our budget is geared by the town council, so I know there's a line
Do we in
item of
fact have a
something.
budget?
I believe there's like $1,000, but again, it's the planner's budget, right? I would assume.
I was thinking of putting a line in for the Christmas party.
I was gonna say, I'm always in support of
Listen,
Listen,
money
we
for
tried to get
food.
boots for years. Bill, we couldn't. We wanted to get boots, so when they went on site visits, they wouldn't even buy them boots.
I'll take food.
Food's better, yeah.
Something stylish, of course.
Yeah.
All right, section 3, the chairman shall be one of the commission members and not an alternate member. The person shall be privileged of discussing all matters before the commission and of voting thereon. The vice chair shall act for the chairman in his absence and have the authority to perform the duties prescribed for that office. The person shall be a commission member and not an alternate. In the absence of both officers, the senior voting member among those present shall act as chairman pro tem at any scheduled meeting. So far, so good?
I got it, it's 2022, I got to put a plug in for, could we put, the vice chairman shall act for the chairman in his or her absence?
Or
We have it in the front, but it's
there.
gotta be
also,
correct here.
we could also do there, but
There.
his or her is fine. We have it in the front, and, the chairman could be a female.
Absolutely. It should be chairperson.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go that extreme.
Or just take out man, put chair.
Yeah,
Yes.
vice chair.
Change the title from vice chair or chairman, so we were
Yeah,
going
we
to
do
change all of
chair.
it to be
Chair.
consistent?
Yeah. We could do that.
I kind of like chairman better than chairperson. Not just me. There's
'Cause you're a
chairman,
male.
vice chairman, so we have a
You're a
chair.
male.
We have a chair, we have a vice chair, right?
Or just chair, vice chair and chair.
Question, comments? I like chairman.
I think,
I-
yeah, I think chairman makes sense.
I know it's 2022, but vice chairman still has a meaning to it,
Yeah.
or chair. But throughout the document, it's chairman.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's written out pretty plain throughout the whole thing, chairman, vice chairman. Makes sense.
I can see where your point is. Act the chairman in his absence. Okay with that, we'll do something with that.
I mean, his or hers fine.
Okay.
Or their. Whatever's
Either one.
grammatically correct, I'm not,
Okay.
not English major by no means.
His or her? Okay. I like that. Instead of changing chairman throughout the whole thing. Right, that's what we're trying to decide, right? In
Yeah.
section 4, vice chairman shall act as chairman in his or her
Mhm.
absence? Okay. Got it. Okay.
But looking at section 4, the last sentence, shall act as chairman,
Oh, that's just a
Or
or
little
not
typo.
man, or men?
No, it should be-
or-
I think it's a typo. It should be
Chairman,
an
yeah.
A.
Typo.
That doesn't change.
Good catch.
Sister Regina Agnes would be
Chairman.
very proud of me.
Okay. So, section 5, the secretary shall be a commission member and not an alternate member. The secretary shall read all notices, added comma, the notice of public hearing, comma, the hearings with an S, I think, and shall perform such duties as are normally carried out by the secretary. So far, so good?
Mhm.
Okay, section 6, in the absence of a secretary, due to illness, personal, or disqualification reasons, the chair and shall appoint secretary pro tem. I think that usually we just kind of flip a coin.
Yeah, but I mean, it's.
So it just puts it in
no,
writing, but
yeah,
we'll keep.
No big deal to have it in there.
Okay. Section 7, resignations from I added Planning and Zoning Commission shall be in written form and transmitted to the chairman and town clerk, who will then forward same to the appointing authority. Any vacancies that may occur among members of the commission by death, disability, or otherwise, notice shall be given to the chairman and the town clerk. So that's that was confirmed, I think, by Janet. I think, Ron, you said something about that too, right? If I remember correctly?
Mhm.
The policy that's the policy right now, right?
Yeah, they have to
So
be
the-
written.
Yeah, so there's no change in section 7 for us.
I mean, it could be an
That's-
email. Email is considered written, but
Okay.
I don't think we need to spell that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a problem in the past where the person moved out of state, and we didn't have a forwarding address. But they couldn't resign because we didn't get a letter of resignation.
Yeah.
And we couldn't contact them to send us a letter of resignation. So it was like, and I'll be honest with you, this was a different commission, but I don't remember what they did.
Should we add something here that says the commissioner can, or somebody can, forcefully kick somebody off in their absence after, to their discretion or something like that, in case somebody runs away? Is that something that maybe we should, on the side note, we don't have to talk about it here, but it's just, I mean, right now, but maybe that's something we think about adding in, that there's a
I feel
provision
like
in there in
it's-
case somebody
what
goes
is it,
AWOL.
Be
It's
run
like,
who?
Yeah, somebody goes AWOL and, we don't have to.
Yeah, it could be like, somebody blah, 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 they forfeit, but,
That's why we have alternates, right?
yeah.
I'm just
After a
saying,
certain
I don't know,
amount of
if
time,
there's, having
they
that option
forfeit.
in there where if they can't if they can't resign, for some reason, could be other reasons too, it doesn't have to be that they want to, maybe they can't write the written letter, but, maybe the commission can vote to resign that person, like, oh, so-and-so is gone.
I think it'd have to be like
Well, that's-
something more
Yeah, like we all
factual,
vote
like
on it.
moving out of state.
Well, no, maybe, like the disability thing, maybe they're unconscious and that's it. they're in a coma now, so we could kind of vote and say,
It-
they're off
to
the
be hon-
board.
You know, not to contradict what you're saying, but to go along with what Bob was saying, an alternate can step into that post until, if you can't reach the person to resign, the alternate can take that position and hold it until our annual meeting where we vote new members.
Okay, yeah, I guess that it all comes back to that. But then that spot would be kind of vacant until the next annual meeting.
And then.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Until their
The- the-
appointment or
the-
something, yeah.
Whatever town committee would not nominate that person for.
Oh,
Yeah, you're right, no, that makes sense, yeah, so there's
There's
kind of like
something
a-
in place
Yeah, that's in
anyway.
place, so then, yeah, adding anything would be redundant. No, you're right, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, so the second sentence is kind of like open-ended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go, that works.
Trish, did you hear about such and such? Oh, yeah, he's disabled, so, or he won't be able to, I talked to the family member. and
Right, right.
Yeah.
So on and so
Next
forth. It's kind of
annual
like,
meeting,
it's
take
kind of
care
left
it.
open until the alternate will take his place.
Makes sense, makes sense.
Okay. So section 8 is administrative duties provided by planning. Administrative staff shall include keeping the minutes, transcripts, and records of the commission, prepare the agenda of regular and special meetings under direction of the chairman, provide notice of all meetings to the commission members, arrange proper legal notice of hearings, attend to correspondence of the commission, and other duties as are normally carried out by the planning department staff. So, that kind of sums up Article 5, officers and their duties. So as far as the $100 goes, I think it is what it is.
Sounds
You
good.
know, I think, okay. So, okay, let's go on to election of officers, section, Article 4. So section 1 is talk about our organizational meeting. An annual organizational meeting shall be held at the first regular scheduled June meeting, at which time officers will be elected and these bylaws reviewed and be a part of the minutes of the regular meeting. A quorum of regular members, 4 members, or all of us present shall be present before election of the officers can take place. So this is kind of a hard one, since we haven't had basically a quorum other than 3.
I like the
Quorum
idea
of 3, so
we
we
just being a quorum, as long as there's at least a quorum here. I don't think
I think the only issue that we had with, so 2 things. One is, do we want to do the annual meeting or make it biannual?
Is the annual meeting of July 13th, the annual meeting this is referring to?
They're not in sync with one another quite yet, but yes.
Oh, okay, is that,
Could-
we're getting there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what that.
I just didn't know if the,
I would say, the annual meeting part, let's do it, and then if we do it this year and next year we're like, this is a little too much, then we could vote to change it to biannually. So I think leave the annual in there. As far as the amount of people, I think a quorum is all that's necessary, so as long as there's 3 voting members, I think we're good to go. I don't think we need 4 or all. If it's important to everybody on the board and they think they should be here, then it'll be, they'll know months in advance when it is, everybody can be here, but at the bare minimum, we should have a quorum. I mean, maybe this is one of those situations too, where multiple members have left the state and they're not around anymore. As long as we at least have a quorum, we can replace them and vote in new people, so. I'm of the opinion, as long as we have a quorum for the vote, I think that's enough. We don't need any more people than that.
So your quorum is 3 people?
Yeah, right, that's what 3 people.
So what happens
Quorum.
if it's Ron, me, and you? We want to vote Trish chairman?
Well,
Because this-
I
because
don't know,
we're
I wonder if
this-
you could still
we're
vote
just
people who
talking
aren't
about
here. I'm sure you could.
I think,
Why not?
it's not saying that they can't be here, I just think that at a minimum, if, let's say it's just Ron, Trish, and me left, and everybody else on the board, moved to Mexico, as long as we have a quorum, which is 3, there's enough of us to have a vote and make a decision and to replace those people. Whereas if we have to have 4 people or 5 people, or 4 or everybody, then I think that would limit the ability to potentially have that meeting go smoothly, and, might be something, we gotta postpone until next time, until we get 4 or 5 people.
I think a quorum's
I
fine
think
as
it's
well.
fine, then.
Ron, what do you think, Ron?
insofar as no member of this committee has any authority more than the person next to them, I think it's a viewpoint that, yes, you got elected, but your vote is the same as my vote.
Correct.
So whether we have a quorum or not, and, if someone gets elected that's not here for a position, and they choose, not to have that position, I guess what I'm saying, the parts are interchangeable,
Yeah.
so it's.
I mean, it's
And
like.
I don't think we should make that much out of, the hierarchy, because it really isn't a hierarchy. It's, if you're saying something, I could, say, absolutely not. We go from there. So I don't see this as a problem. I think a quorum of 3, if you're not here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in the schedule, so if you want to be here, everybody can be here, it'll be scheduled out months in advance, the day, so.
Okay. Trish, you okay with 3?
Yeah, and whether, commission gets along or doesn't get along, if the commission gets along, it's like, okay, I don't care what 3 are there. If they don't get along, then it's important enough to them to be here, they know the date, they can be here, so,
Okay.
I'm fine with the quorum.
All right, so we'll change that to 3. So quorum of 3, right? And then we want to keep the annual
Do you
meeting
wanna-
for now?
Yeah.
I'm just interjecting. Do you want to put a number on that? Because what if they decide they want 6 members on the commission? Now you're going to say, well, you've got 3, that's not a
Well,
quorum.
the 3's.
Well, no, because it's 5 and 3 alternates.
Yeah, it
based
says
on
in the front, so if
statutes.
they change that, then they can go through and change, in the future, they can change
No.
other things, they're gonna change stuff,
Or you could
it's
just
gonna
say
trickle down.
2/3 of the commission instead of putting an absolute.
I think the word quorum's
Well,
kind of already in it.
quorum
so
is always a
we
majority,
don't-
like
Yeah, we don't have
half
to change
plus
the.
1.
I think the quorum's a good word, and I don't think they would ever
Definition,
make
right?
the commission an even number. I think that's just
No,
across the
yeah,
board in
either
our
5 or
country.
7,
It's a
yeah.
good
We don't
way to
ever
look
do
at it.
even
I like
numbers.
that.
I think that's what quorum means.
Yeah, no, I think you're
Half
right as
plus
well,
one.
and I think that in our country, we don't ever have an even number of board members on anything.
Yes.
So there's
Yeah.
always gonna be 3, 5, 7, 9, and a quorum will always mean a quorum, so I think that language is gonna be appropriate.
Okay.
And it'll be, future-proof.
The only reason my logic in the 4 was to have more people here than not.
No,
So there's
No.
more participation than not. So it's, everyone's kind of like knows who's who, and that's the only reason why I
Yeah.
put 4, so to get more people here, because we've
I know.
had of only 3 in the past 6 meetings. So, okay, so we'll go 3 and annual for now.
Yes.
Okay, that settles section 1.
Yes, I agree with the odd number. I mean,
Do we need to talk about June yet, or no?
We're getting there.
Oh, we're getting there? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
Or where, if not now?
Yeah, no, actually, you're right. It is.
Or no, it's in
You're right, I
meetings.
didn't, so it's.
You looking for this?
No, I'm looking for the old one.
the heat is
What do we have
finally-
before?
Oh, I don't
Oh, here we
No, I don't
go.
know about that.
Oh, the old one.
Like feet and hands are so cold.
My feet always stay cold.
So our annual meeting in the original 1974 document was first regular meeting in June. So it's really subjective, Trish, basically. Other commissions have it right after the election, because some of their people are elected. Some of them have it before the end of the year, so we can have it whenever we want to have it.
I
This is
kind of
the-
like the idea of it being close to the elections. I'm not sure.
When are the elections? I mean, it doesn't, I think it just, we should have it where it avoids conflict, like July, a lot of people are on vacation.
Agreed.
Around.
Yeah, I think June, July is a weird date because it's the middle of the summer.
Or like if it's beginning of June, maybe not the middle or end, so as long as it's,
I
Not
like
April,
what you're
because
saying
April
too, with
break.
people going away. I think it should be
Yes.
on like the months where usually people are around.
Or-
here, like,
exactly,
Nobody's
yeah.
going anywhere in October, or nobody's going anywhere in like February.
Back to
or
school.
in the middle of the, in the middle of the school year.
yeah, like avoid,
Um,
April break, April.
Yeah.
So like, so yeah, as long as we avoid breaks or travel or.
So let's talk about,
It's fine.
so summer's out, Let's bag that.
Yeah, I
Forget
agree.
that. Okay, so spring, it's kind of like you're getting ready for summer.
Yeah.
So I think we're fall or winter, and
Yeah, I think
I
fall.
think maybe the fall is probably where we're kind of leaning towards the.
Yeah, everybody's refreshed and like geared up after the
Everyone's back to
summer.
school or back in the
Yeah.
routine. So,
I mean, I think October's around that time. I think that makes sense. Usually
Yeah.
everybody's settled back. Kids usually go back to school in September. That's hectic. By October, things settle
Yeah, that's a
down.
good point. The
Think-
month of
yeah.
September is just chaos. with
September's
everybody
hectic. By
adjusting.
October, things
Yeah.
are settling
I
down.
agree. October sounds like a good month. Was first meeting in October?
Yeah, first meeting in October.
Okay.
And look, we don't like it, we change it.
Yeah.
You know, we can vote on it.
What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, but really,
I know it's like indifference, but.
kind of before.
Ron's a
the-
big vacation man, you know, he likes to
I
travel,
know.
all right? So
Oh,
he's
yeah.
out of here in the summertime anyway.
What country?
Saturday morning.
He'll be here in
Join
October,
me this
right?
Saturday morning, that's
St.
awesome.
Thomas.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, really?
That's
That's a
nice.
nice one, huh? Another island for this guy, all right.
And St. John also, but.
Who's counting? Who's counting, right?
Well, it's only short for everybody.
Yeah, it's only short, right? It's right there. Right? Might as well hit both.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to do first regular scheduled October
Yeah.
Yes.
meeting.
yes.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, October's good enough.
All right. We'll leave the
I don't wanna
current
get close-
schedule.
You know, I don't want to get it close to November with politics, and then there's always
Good
something.
point, yeah.
There's always
That's a good
something,
point.
you know, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day.
October, first week of
That's an
October
important
works.
day.
Well, December 14th might be a good day for our annual quote-unquote meeting / Christmas meeting.
Talking about the Christmas party?
Christmas
We have a
event.
$100 a month budget.
Yeah,
I'm just
oh.
saying.
Whoa.
Oh,
Just
there it
That's
is.
gonna-
Big money
Just
right
saying.
there.
Woo! It's
There
gonna
you
take us
go.
far, boy.
That might be more appropriate when you think about it.
You could buy everybody a cup of coffee.
Cup of water, bottle of water.
I think though, we could put like a soft in, let's say, like I said, the October thing, we don't have to lock it in, we have
Yes,
all
sir.
year. So we
Yeah, I
could put
like
that
that.
as like a soft, let's really think about it. And next time we come back, if somebody's got a better date, we'll just adjust it then.
Yeah.
But for right now, let's just say we're changing it for sure. It's definitely not gonna be in the summertime.
Yep.
First meeting of October sounds nice, maybe it's a different date, we'll lock it in.
I agree, it's
Yeah.
all work
In the
in
future, we got
progress.
plenty of time to lock in a date.
Yeah.
Because we're not voting on this anyway, we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
I agree with Trish, you know, take summer out of it, and
Yeah.
like Chuck said, September with the kids going to school, we'll
Yeah,
take
it's
that out of there too.
exhausting
The
time.
election cycle, this room, and everything else going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
October.
October, we'll shoot for October. All right, sounds great. Section 2, nominations shall be made from the floor at the organizational meeting and elections of officers as specified in section 1 and 2 of Article 4 shall follow immediately thereafter, after the Christmas party. Oh, that's not it. Section 3. Section 3, a candidate receiving a majority vote from the entire membership of the commission shall be declared elected and shall serve 1 year or until his successor shall take office.
His or her.
Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't be opposed to making it 2 years, but honestly, I don't know if it really would matter that much, whether it's something, if we have an annual meeting, we're gonna get together and vote every year, or locking it in for 2 years. And then that way, in the future, if we change, hey, annual meetings more than enough, we're just gonna do every other year meeting, biannual meeting.
When they
Not
be,
biannual.
shouldn't they be tied together?
That's what I mean, tie them together, so I'm saying, right, if we decide to not do an annual meeting and we do it every other year, then it'll be 2 years. If we do annual, then, I don't think it's a big deal to vote every time we're meeting anyway. So I guess, yeah, like you said, I think it'll be connected, so if we decide to leave it as an annual, I think 1 year is fine.
Sounds good, and yeah, to have some type of meaning to it. 1 year sounds good, because we meet annually.
Right, okay. So we leave it 1 year.
Yeah, I
Okay
think,
for now?
I'm just thinking out loud now, I think leave it for now, but, yeah, and if we decide to keep the annual meetings, since we're meeting, I'm just thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it probably makes sense, we'll just vote every year.
Yeah.
Might be new people coming in, might be things changing, so, yeah, there you go.
Okay. So how do you guys in the future, should I just leave it underlined for, so, because I'm gonna track the changes on the document
Mhm.
and make the revisions, so on the sidebar, there'll be revisions and
Mhm.
changes so you can see what changed.
Mm.
So we won't have to rehash it again. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
so
it's,
make sense?
makes sense.
Section 4, vacancies and officers shall be filled at the next regular meeting in accordance with section 2 and 3 above. Newly elected officer is to serve the unexpired term of the officer in which the vacancy shall occur. I think we already do that, right? Okay, section 5, at the organizational meeting / Christmas party, the commission shall recommend for an appointment as liaison representative. It says with 4 votes.
Is that just gonna be with a quorum?
Um,
Not, or a majority?
So
I
I
just
think,
think.
I think I eliminated it. I just deleted it.
Oh,
Just
you're
get rid of
into-
it?
I'm gonna delete it. What do you think?
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
just-
it's
it just-
redundant, it's redundant to say
Right.
it. If it's a,
Slash
Organization
whoever
meeting is 3
volunteers for it.
3 people, so.
yeah, so it's a vote to
it's-
vote.
The organization already set up, so you don't
Yeah.
need it. Right, so the commission shall recommend for appointment as liaison representatives to the A, South Central Regional Council of Governors, /Planning Commission, and B, Conservation and Wetlands and Watercourse Agency, 1 regular and 1 alternate members. The term is for 2 years and expires May 31st. The commission's recommendations for appointments shall be provided in writing to the town council for action.
For the expires, should that just be whatever we decide our annual meeting's gonna be? So if we decide it's October, make it September 31st to expire, that way we can.
So
Select new people, is that how that works?
So just some
Or
background.
May
the-
31st lockdown.
The commission we have these two agencies are our positions to recommend to the town council by, I think, charter.
Got it.
Yeah, I think May's locked in.
Right,
Okay,
so
yeah,
the
okay.
May 31st is the expiration of our tenure.
Yes, correct. It goes
So
along with
then we
the
get, and that's why that's
Yeah.
kind of
Got
locked
it.
in.
Got it, got it.
And where that came
However,
from, who knows, but.
right, these agencies in the town charter is May 31st. I think it's tied to us, Trish, as well.
Yeah.
Our term is 3 years.
Oh, I don't know.
No, ours is 3 years. This is 2 years.
Got it.
So the commission member would be on this for 2 years or until he vacates based on the language above.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Any questions on that?
No.
Do we want to tackle one more? Coming up on the bewitching hour of 1 hour.
I say, yeah, let's.
Want to tackle
Push
one
a
more?
Let's
little
finish,
Like, let's
finish
go
the page,
halfway.
right? Let's finish this next section, so we're almost
All
done
right,
with the
let's
page.
get through section 7, Article 7,
Yeah.
meetings. So this, section 1, regular meetings will be held on the first and third Thursday of each month at 6:30, excluding July and August, and now I gotta add December.
Yeah.
Add December to that. In the town hall, except at such time as determined that a scheduled meeting is not necessary, which we've had a couple already.
Mhm.
In the event of conflict with holidays or other events, majority at the meeting may change the date of the next regular meeting. So this is the question that we want to discuss as far as 6:30,
Mhm.
7 o'clock?
We were 7, and then we bumped it up to 6:30 because when things were going late, just that extra half hour made a big difference.
And Trish, what was late?
But,
9:30
9:30,
sometimes.
10.
Yeah,
It was later than that.
yeah, right.
It was pushing 11.
Yeah, so we bumped it, the half hour, just, I don't know about you, but it made a huge difference to me. Like, 30 minutes doesn't seem like much, but,
On the other end, it does.
yeah, starting at 7 was like, oh, like 7's late, even though I'm a night person.
Yeah, the old timers are in bed by then, but hey, that's.
And that's, I'm okay either way, but for me, I lean towards I'd rather meet at 7, just because my days are full. And there's been,
That's
there's
fine.
been
That's
days
fine
where
too.
I'm getting wrapped up at work and I'm just rolling in here. So I'm okay with leaving it, but
No, I know Bill sometimes has trouble getting here at
Yeah,
6:30.
I lean
I can
towards
go
7.
either way, like.
I thought the 6:30 was really Bill's thoughts.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter, but I'm retired, so 6:37 doesn't matter, except the working people get out of work at 5, you know, rush home, eat, you know, change your clothes or whatever.
Kids
and
in
get
the whole
here.
9 yards.
Like for me today, like I mean, today I had school, but got out of class, was at Giovanni's, and then we walked in here about 6:22. I didn't even have time to go home and change. You know, so I'm just saying that, you know, I'm working all day, and I lean towards 7. That's me.
I mean, and it's something that we can go back on. We can do
Yeah.
7, and if we're all loving that over the next year or 2 years, great. If all of a sudden we all start disliking that over the next year or 2 years, great. We'll switch it back. So I think
Okay.
it's 6 of one, half a dozen
We
of the
can
other.
say, we can change it to 7 o'clock, and after a couple of months, if it doesn't work, you know, we
Have a meeting, and change
update
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all we did for the time change anyway. We just talked about it as a team, and,
Yeah,
Okay.
you just made a motion.
yeah, it wasn't
Okay, cool.
monumental.
All right.
I'm thinking, what's involved with changing the time?
We probably just vote on, let the town
Right here?
clerk know, and that's it.
You know, I mean, this.
Calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as all the new.
Yeah, I mean, this,
me-
the
me-
news,
me notices.
the town,
Yep.
They hand, I think
Website.
they'll update not the clerk, is it the clerk? Not the clerk,
No, the
what's her name?
Lynn.
Lynn,
the,
yeah. What's her position?
Building
Building-
secretary, building.
Building
Yes.
secretary?
Yeah,
Lynn will take care of it all.
right, in cooperation with Gina, town
I think
manager,
I know
assistant town
Gina.
manager. She helps the town manager, she does the calendar,
Mhm.
so we secure the room.
yes.
7 o'clock, and then it goes on the website at 7 o'clock. So that's for this discussion, let's change it to 7.
Yep.
And so July, August, and December are 1 meetings. Okay?
Yes.
So at the end of this section, there's an end time to your point, so we don't go any beyond
Hmm.
10 o'clock. So let me work through this, and
Yeah.
then we'll get to the very last section, number 6. Section 2, a majority, 3, of the voting membership of the commission shall constitute a quorum. There you go. We're consistent now. The number of votes necessary to transcribe business shall be a majority of members present. Voting shall be by voice or by a show of hands. This was our discussion, Trish, but I don't remember, and I don't think you do either, as
No.
far as the voting aspect of it, what we were talking, a roll call?
Oh, yeah,
A
the-
roll call vote, or not a roll call, but
It
you have to
was, sometimes it's a
explain-
roll call, and sometimes it's just the whole, everybody in favor. But I think it actually might be spelled out in Robert's Rules of Order, when you do roll call and when you don't. But it was also very obvious when I went to a training, like, I almost feel like that's a quick question to the,
Attorney?
Town
Town
attorney.
attorney, once he goes through this, I'm sure he'll have some
Okay.
feedback.
So I'll make a note of it, okay?
But it
That's all.
is, it wasn't, when it was told to me, it's not an arbitrary idea. It's definitely written down somewhere when you're supposed to do roll call versus when not. And most of the time, I feel like you are supposed to do roll call. There's only certain times you don't have to. I just forget, but it is somewhere written.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I agree.
We'll put that on some
Yeah.
kind of reminder note for section 2.
Yeah.
Section 3, moving on, section 3, staff shall prepare and mail or send via email, agendas with background information, applications, public hearings, draft meeting minutes to commission members no later than 7 days prior to scheduled date. Do alternatives get a emailed packet, another underlined question. Staff shall contact commission members a day or 2 prior to each regular meeting to determine quorum. Due to lack of quorum or inclement weather, regular meeting may be canceled or rescheduled at the discretion of the chair. So the question I asked to Lynn or sent via email, and she had said yes, that it was emailed. So I guess she prepares, mails it, and in this particular case, our meeting today was emailed.
Yeah, I think.
I think if.
Or we could
I
just
would
say
lean
send.
towards, I would say that, because it makes sense to mail everything when we have big packets and stuff.
Yes.
And email, and then maybe just have it say like, mail and email in a way where, if it's like today where it's just the,
Yeah,
just the
saying
meeting,
where we
an
can.
email's fine, but when there's substance and things are coming out, then that's where the mail comes in, because otherwise, otherwise I'm gonna be printing off 50 pages before I come here anyway.
Or we just could say send or given, because I know I've had, when things were really big, just it was dropped in the mailbox.
Yeah.
It
Well,
wasn't.
that's what I mean, I think sometimes it makes
Not
sense to
supposed to do that,
physically
but-
mail it, sometimes,
Yeah, it's been brought to the porch.
yeah, sometimes,
Oh.
yeah, as long as it gets there, right? As long as it gets there, but,
So it could be
Bob,
sent,
that-
given.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that postage comes out of your $100.
Oh, jeez.
yeah, so maybe that in there where it says,
Given?
Staff shall prepare mail, or email, kind of like at their discretion type of thing, so I think as long as it says the or in there, and then let Lynn and the team understands that's.
Or we
that
make it
makes
more
sense.
generic, just sent or given.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think sometimes it makes sense to do one way, sometimes it makes sense to do the
Yeah.
other. Like Trish said, make it more generic and
Yeah.
kind of open. Doesn't have to be exact.
Because we could also pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't know about picking it up. I don't know about that. I don't know about picking it up.
Well, it depends on the volume, right? The volume of the package is
Yeah.
really what's driving it,
Very thick ones, correct.
right? So,
This is that area where I think less is more, and that way the
Yeah.
staff can figure it out.
Agreed.
When it makes sense to do it one way,
Yeah.
they're gonna make the best judgment.
Why 7 underline? Is that new or that's always been there? Is there a law about when we're supposed to get it?
no, there is no law, but consistently Lynn has contacted me a week before our meetings.
I mean, it's fair.
So she says I need to mail it out by Thursday or Friday to get in the mail to us before either Saturday or Monday of the meeting week, so we have time to look at the
Mhm.
package of documents that
Right.
come across to us, so.
That's fine.
And then the other underline, do alternates get a mail packet? And the answer is yes.
I was gonna say, I remember always getting
Yeah,
one, so.
so that was a question from our,
I guess it just, logic, I think it makes sense if they're gonna be here, they're gonna be sitting there, they
Correct,
should have
yeah.
the same information as everybody else, so I mean,
Yep.
what is it to send out 2 more,
Right.
3 alternates,
yeah, we were just, that was in our caucus, we had a question, like, okay, what happens? And they do get it, so that's the answer. How about were we good with section 3 as far as what happens?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'll try to word it, and we can look at it again, and I'll throw in
Mhm.
something simpler.
Yeah, like Chuck said, less is more.
Okay.
That goes a longer way sometimes.
Is that 3 A and B, or is that 3 and a typo?
It's funny, when you're focused on one thing, you don't notice the other.
Yep.
Section
So
3
section
and 4.
4,
And 5,
we numbered
6,
4, 5, 6, 7. So section 3, now 4, renamed to number 4. All commission meetings, hearings, and other proceedings shall be open to the public when in session. The commission may, by a majority of those present and voting, enter an executive session, and no action be taken during the executive session. Executive session is closed to the public and should be limited to the types of discussions specified in the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
So it kind of spells out what we've been doing, right? I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. New section number 5, previously number 4. Unless otherwise specified, Robert's Rules of Order shall govern the proceedings at commission meetings. Section 5, now number 6. Special meetings may be called by the chairman, who shall notify the appropriate staff. The staff shall notify all members of the commission in advance of such meeting. The last concluding section under meetings is number 7. Commission meetings shall conclude by 11 p.m. No new agenda items shall begin after 10:30 p.m. unless facing application deadline or similar time constraints, or upon majority approval by the membership. The entire section is underlined and open for discussion on whatever you guys want to change it to or reword it to.
Is that from like somebody else's charter?
A couple of them. Middletown had one concluding it. So it puts an end date and then says, okay, we don't want to do anything more than that. Again, it's flexible, Trish.
No, I was,
We can.
I was only wondering in terms of like,